Good afternoon, and it's great to see you all. And I'm just completely turned around because we don't usually do it this way. So this is good. Thank you, Jenifer, for breaking our mold and for being a little different. This is a unique configuration, all right, for our conversation. And we're going to be led in a discussion called Constructing the Creative Environment, a Director's Guide. So you're the director, and you're going to guide us, I hope. Jenifer's an assistant professor in communication and theatre arts. She's a theatre artist who has developed a number of workshops mainly to assist with using theatre techniques to assist scientists and engineers to get their message across. Some of you may have seen the plays that she put together with our Sea Level Rise initiative last year for helping students, young students now in schools, to understand something about what sea level rise is about and what is the scientific method, how do you collect data and analyze it and so on. And that was very, very nicely done. Thank you, Jenifer. She's a writer and a director. Her most recent piece is Mary Anning, Girl Fossil Hunter, a play about a young girl who made one of the most important scientific discoveries in the 19th century. And in 2010, she created Fragments, which is a play connecting the Hampton Roads military community to the university. And as you know, we have a very strong military community here. Jenifer has directed several plays here at ODU. Her designs have appeared on stages all over the East Coast. She's directed and performed in more than 30 productions from Denver to Baltimore. Big range. So today she's going to lead us in a conversation about how to create safe environments that allow our students to take creative risks, which sounds very interesting. And I hope that, I'm sure we will all take away from today's conversation some thoughts, some different ways of doing things, and some innovative ideas. So over to Jenifer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Put that there until we need it. I want to thank Joy and Allison, who is not here, and Carter, and everyone else who was involved in helping me figure out how we could make this workshop work, both for me in terms of the content that I want us to create together, and helping CLT create what they need to create in terms of filming. But having said that, I would like all of us to take the idea that there is a camera in the room and throw it away. And so let's just pretend it's not there. And I'm going to invite all of you to join me up here in a circle. So you can leave your things, and we will have time for cookies, I promise. All right. And I have to stand sort of over here because that's where my... Hi, Fred. Thank you for coming. All right. All right, so what we're going to do, I said circle, but I think I meant oval. So let's just take a moment. What we're going to do is we're going to work together to create a more beautiful oval. So whatever that means to you, what can you do to make our oval that we're creating together a little more beautiful? Here we go. All right. Very nice. The most important thing about theater is that we like to congratulate ourselves for a job well done. So, all right. Just take a look one more time and see if there's any small thing that you can do to make spacing more even, really nice. Polish your shoes. I need to do that too, I discovered. All right. All right. Very, very nice. So what we're going to do in this workshop is I really wanted you all to have the experience of creating a safe space together, because really what happens is that in the classroom, of course, thank you so much, we can't create the safe space alone. We have to get the students involved in creating the safe space together. So that is what I'm going to demonstrate at the beginning, and then we're going to play some games, we're going to do some stuff, we're going to be creative, and then we'll talk a little bit at the end. So does anyone have any questions before we begin? I do not know your physical limitations, so if for some reason you need to not participate in something, it's okay, just just sort of stay with the group, if that makes sense. All right, so here's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to learn who's here. So everyone is just, when you get the ball, you're going to say your name. It's going to come this way, or go that way and go around. So you'll just say your name. Jenifer.
Fred.
Tanya. Jamie. Tammy.
Charles. Chandra. Jesse.
Faithful. Jennifer. Elaine. Joy. Judy. Diana. Ruth. Janet. Kathy. Penny.
George.
Morel.
Arthur.
Ron.
Dave.
Carol.
Edward.
Kathy the second.
Jennifer. We're going to do it one more time, only faster. Jennifer.
Fred.
Tanya. Jamie. Tammy.
Charles. Chandra. Jesse.
Faithful. Jennifer. Elaine. Joy. Judy. Ruth. Janet. Kathy.
George. Arthur. David. Edward.
Kathy the third.
Jennifer, and let's all make room for Ailish, who I am so happy to see. Hi. I haven't seen you forever. Welcome. All right, so we're going to go this way now, and what's important to know is the name of the person on either side of you. So, Jennifer?
Kathy.
Edward. David. Arthur.
Ailish. Morel.
George.
Penny. Kathy. Janet. Ruth. Judy. Joy. Jennifer. Faithful.
Jesse. Chandra. Charles.
Tammy. Jamie. Tanya.
Fred.
Jennifer. Give yourselves a hand. All right. Now, you're going to say your name when you get the ball, and then you're going to say the name of the person that you're passing to. So it would be Jenifer, Kathy, and on. Okay? So here we go. Oh, sorry. That was a demonstration. Jennifer, Kathy.
Kathy. Edward.
Edward. Carol.
Carol. David.
David. Robin. Arthur. Muhammad.
Ailish. Morel. George.
George. Judy.
Penny. Penny.
Oh, hold one second. George, you are my favorite person in the world because you have created, yes, something that we all need to learn. So you've created an event for me to bring to our attention that if we are afraid of making a mistake, we cannot be creative. All right, so our fear will keep us from progressing. And so what we do in our environment in theater is we celebrate the mistake. And the way that we celebrate the mistake is like this. We go and we enjoy it. It is non-accusatory. So we're celebrating with George. Boing! Oh, beautiful rehearsal. Let's do it one more time. Boing! Give yourselves a hand. George, can you start us off again and just start with George and move to Penny?
George. Penny.
Penny. Kathy. Kathy. Jim. Janet. Ruth. Ruth. Diana. Diana. Judy. Joy. Joy. Elaine. Jennifer. Faithful. Jesse.
Jesse. Chandra. Charles. Charles. Tammy.
Jamie. Jamie. Tanya. Tanya. Fred.
Fred. Jennifer.
Thank you. Give yourselves a hand. All right, we are going to work a little more about finding out who's in the room, okay? So it's a game we're going to play. This center of the room, I'm going to make some statements. So this center of our circle, if you come to the center, you absolutely agree with the statement I make. And if you're out towards the edge of the circle, you absolutely disagree. And everywhere sort of in between is gradations of those things, right? So we're moving center, absolutely agree, edge, absolutely disagree, and anywhere in between, okay? So here's my first statement. I like dogs. I had such a great question. So you said, is it the movie? So many of these statements will have multiple interpretations. And you should interpret it for yourself however you interpret it, and we'll talk about the interpretations later. All right, so here's the next one. I like cats. I feel nervous. I feel nervous. I feel silly. I feel silly. I'm having fun. I'm having fun. Those are so sweet. I am a creative person. I am a creative person. My students are creative people. My students are creative people. My colleagues are creative people. My colleagues are creative people. Creativity is valued in my discipline. Creativity is valued in my discipline. I have ideas about promoting creativity. I have ideas about promoting creativity. My ideas about creativity are welcome. My ideas about creativity are welcome. All right, give yourselves a hand. And let's come back to our circle. Oval, our oval. And let's just take a minute. We're going to take a deep breath, and we're just going to let it out. And I'd like to ask you, compared to when you came into the room, how are you feeling now? What's different? Observe in yourself. What is different?
Smiling.
More relaxed?
More smiling.
Smiling?
More engaging.
More engaged? More engaging?
Okay.
More engaged? Warmer. It is warm in here. I actually thought it would be I thought it would be cool, so I made my sartorial choices. Wrong again. Other thoughts about how you feel different?
Even more curious.
Even more curious. Ooh, I love that.
I started thinking, how could I use cigarette type of technique in my class?
Ah,
Haven't found out yet.
you haven't found the answer yet, or do you have some ideas?
I'm still thinking.
Okay, all right. So starting to think about how to use this in my class. Ailish and then Fred.
Somewhat connected to a group of people I don't know.
Yes.
Somewhat connected to a group of people you don't know. Lovely.
And my fellow one is more camaraderie.
More camaraderie. Very nice. And I want to thank you all for being really brave right off the bat. So give yourselves a hand about that. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at my thing. Okay. So we're going to do some more exercises. But before we do, I want to bring to our attention that if we have a room full of people, who I'm going to call our ensemble, so the people who are going to be creative together, we want to be careful that we give some instruction about the right way to interact with each other. So the instructions that I want to give here is about, because we're working towards creativity, is about being an encourager. And the way that we're going to be an encourager in this group is we're going to focus on the person whose turn it is to perform or whose turn it is to do something, and we're going to smile at that person. We're going to give a lot of energy to that person. So we're not going to do this or this. And we're also, and this is harder, not going to think about how we're up next, that our thing is coming up next and we don't know what clever, amazing thing we're going to do. So we're going to really turn our focus from the inside to the outside. So everybody find someone in the circle and make eye contact and be an encourager non-verbally as much as you can. So anywhere in the circle. And see if you can find 2 or 3 more people to encourage. All right, give yourselves a hand. Very nice. All right, very nice. Okay, so has everyone at least seen a comic book in life? Yes. Yeah? Okay. So in comic books, there are those like onomatopoeia words like zip and boing and zoom. Everyone know those words? Okay. All right. Oh, you don't? Yes, you do.
I'm
Oh.
afraid of what's coming.
Oh. But we are all here to support you. All right. So this is actually really important because we do have fear, and in fact, I am more nervous than I have been in a very long time. So we all have some fear. So a way to deal with that fear is to kind of breathe. So let's all breathe again. And to also know that everyone here wants you to succeed. So that is our goal, is to support each other in success. And also to know that if we make a mistake, we all get to do the really fun thing, right? Boing. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to all make an onomatopoeia sound that is not a real word, and we're going to do a motion that goes with it, and we're going to pass it. And again, Kathy, you picked the wrong spot. So we're going to send it to the person next to us. It's really important that you not, at this moment right now, you are thinking of the cleverest thing that you can possibly do, or you're thinking, how can I get out of the room, right? We're doing some thinking that has to do with being outside of the group. So I'm going to encourage you to really focus on the person whose turn it is to have a solo. So the ensemble is supporting the soloist as they are creative. And I'm going to encourage you to do the first, dumbest, most stupid thing that comes to mind when it's your turn, and you don't need to think about it before now. All you have to do right now, because it's my turn, all you have to do right now is breathe and encourage me. Whoop! And now it's your turn. And so you do something that is like a word and a motion to the person next to you.
Ba, 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 ba.
Beautiful.
Bam.
Zip. Bing. Slash.
Lollipop. Flash.
Scowl. Yeah. Back. Pop. Zoink. Whoosh. Zoom.
Wash.
Oh no. That's it. Whack. Zap.
Something different? Whatever the first thing that comes to mind.
Shazam!
Bizzle.
Super duper do. Boom.
Woo! Give yourselves a hand. Check in with yourself again. How are you feeling? What's different? What's new?
Time to leave.
Time to leave. Feeling a little like, what did I sign up for?
I feel sillier than I have
Silly.
since 10 years old. Yes.
That was music to my ears. Other thoughts about how you feel?
Yes, we're hoping that the camera malfunctions.
Yes, because now we're recorded like this permanently.
Yes. Showing what lovely encouragers you all are and what lovely performers. Other thoughts about how you're feeling?
I'm way outside my comfort zone.
Way outside your comfort zone. Yeah, absolutely. So what I've done is I've really asked everyone to step way outside our comfort zone, because even though we're used to being up in front of a classroom, right, performing, teaching, it's much harder to be with our group, and it's really awkward. I've just asked everyone to do something really awkward. So. Other feelings about outside comfort zone?
Started out smiling, now I'm still smiling, but have sweaty palms.
I know what this is here. Other thoughts? Yeah.
More grounded.
More grounded. Tell us what that means.
Just in terms of being rooted to where I am in the space and rootedness and connectedness to others. Just more comfortable with each other.
Grateful to be playful.
Grateful to be playful.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'll be the worried one, because now I feel very supported, but I'm still worried, like, what's going to happen next?
'Cause-
And it's increasingly creative.
It's getting worse, Jennifer. That's what she's telling me.
We sent something new to you, right? Okay, yeah. Other? All right, very nice. Well, we are going to play a game now that we're all going to do together. So it's another sort of solo and ensemble game, so we're going to encourage the person. So in fact, Ruth, I'm going to send something new. It's another solo, but I promise to support you. It's another solo and ensemble game. So we're going to do the same sort of encouragement, smiling, and really supporting the person whose turn it is. And when it's your turn, it is your choice how long you take the solo role. Okay, so we are going to tell a story together. And here are the rules. You have to add something to the story, even if it's one word. The way that you tell the person that it's their turn to continue the story is you're going to look at them and make eye contact, and then they know it's their turn. And that's how you're going to pass responsibility for the creativity that goes into the story making. And you can't negate anything that anyone else has said. So if I say there was a giant flying dinosaur, there was a giant flying dinosaur. And you have to work with that. So you're going to work with whatever the person gives you. The skill here is, again, not to think ahead of the group. So really listen to and encourage the person whose turn it is to talk, and don't worry about your part until it comes to you. And something brilliant will come to you because you have all these people here supporting you. So once upon a time, there was a professor. Is anyone in here named Sarah? I don't remember Sarah. Okay, there was a professor named Sarah. And it was the beginning of the semester, and Sarah had a lot of things to do. She was teaching 3 classes, and there were a lot of students in every class, and she was the chair of a search committee. And
she realized that she had done this before. So with strength and quiet resignation, she got up each day, went to her office, sat down at her desk, and
She sat there all alone, and that's when she got most of her work done.
But sometimes she brought in a pillow, closed the door, and took a nap. One day during office hours, a student showed up, and Sarah was napping. So, here she was in the middle of the nap, and she decided she'd probably better get up. It is office hours after all, so she hid her pillow away in the file cabinet, since there's nothing else in the file cabinet. So she hid her pillow, and then she opened the door, and much to her amazement,
A manic, crazed student who was crying profusely, jittery, jumping up and down, and Sarah didn't know what to do, whom to call, and then she thought.
She thought, I need to call my chair, but no, that's not enough. I need to call my dean. So she was about to pick up the phone to call the dean's office when it occurred to her that this might look odd to the student. So before she called the dean's office, she addressed the student to ask the student for patience. And the student responded,
I don't have any patience.
Or gentle hygiene, I don't have patience. Then Sarah said, well, that's not quite the patience I meant. Here, why don't you try my pillow, rest your head, and count to 10.
okay.
And then she called the dean. And the dean said, can't you do something with students? We don't have anything to do with this. And so she sat down and she said, what's the problem? And the student proceeded to tell her.
So, at the moment the student is going to tell her, all of a sudden some emotional strikes get hold of the student. The student tear up the pillow, waving around, jumping upside down again. Sarah look at her, or look at him, ask him, and passed out. For a moment. So, then somebody showed up at the door.
Yeah, it was his mother. His moms are always right.
right there when a student needs help from a faculty member. The mother comes rushing in and says, "What have you done? I can't believe
my student is failing your class." And then the mother sat down at the desk and said, "I recognize you when you taught me 20 years ago." And Sarah was going, "Am I really that old?"
I guess I am that old. But even worse, this is not your child. This is your grandchild.
And what a fine mess. Now I have mom and grandson here all in the same place. What am I to do? Well, I think I'll start by not calling the dean. See if I can figure this out on my own. I think we should go outside and maybe sit under the sun. Let's have a little light on the situation. Let's warm up. Let's kind of stretch and we'll talk it out. What do you think?
Let's go for a walk. Let's just breathe deeply and move slowly and take in sights and sounds around us and just rest a little bit.
Rest and the helicopter that the grandmother flew in on. There's helicopter parents and stuff. And as, you know, once the student woke up and felt a little refreshed, then Sarah got to talk with him and find out what the issue was, and he said,
"I don't know about these 14 papers I have to write about flying dinosaurs. I don't know where to go. I don't know who to talk to. Maybe I should see if there's something I can research at the library, or maybe I can talk to my grandmother and see what she says about."
Well, she suddenly realized that there was a mobile app that was solved all but it was going to cost her about $99 out of So her decision was
to go on her own instinct and guide the student toward taking accountability for their learning and properly preparing for classes.
And suddenly Sarah woke up from her dream because she was all the
Stolen. She was so relieved that she really hadn't assigned 14 term papers.
Yes, but just then, there was a knock at the door.
And there was a student crying. Saying term hasn't even started yet and I can't fathom how I'm failing your class and you expect me to write about 14 flying dinosaurs.
Oh boy. So Sarah said, "I'm going to talk to your mother. Is your mother here by any chance?"
No, my mother's not here. And with that, Sarah said, "Oh, I notice our time is up for our office hours." And said, "Well, if you want to continue this discussion, my next office hour is tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And Sarah escorted the student out, closed the door, and suddenly started to think that her job and all of its ramifications and all the obligations she had really wasn't that bad after all.
And tucked in the back of her mind, she remembered that Zulon Press had asked her for a book. Grabbing some folded paper out of her pocket, she made notes of the date and some of the salient points. And she said, "I told them no, but now I know I need to change that answer to yes."
Beautiful. We're going to do one more agree, disagree. So we're going to come to the center of the room if we agree and sort of to the edges of the room if we disagree. I feel like I can work with the people in this room. I feel like I can work with the people in this room.
Of course, you know we all mean to be in the center. We just
Yes, and you're all beautiful. Okay, give yourselves a hand. It is so glad, I'm so thrilled that you all want to work together because I'm going to ask you to get in groups of 4 or 5 and we're going to do a very, very small quick assignment. So find 3 or 4 other people who you maybe don't know very well. So try and choose people you don't know. Okay, people that you're married to. No. Please join. Good. That's fine. 6 is fine. Okay. Okay. Lovely. All right. I should have asked you all to introduce yourselves to each other, but you seem to have done that, so very good. Here's what I want you to do. And you can use chairs or anything you can find in the room. I want you all to make the picture of anti-creativity. So what does anti-creativity look? So you're going to use the props in the room, whatever chairs, whatever you want, and the people. And you're going to make like a still tableau using the people in your group as the actors of what creativity not happening looks like. And you have 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
You're fine. I've been checking with them. We're picking up the audio. Okay, so we're good to go.
I forgot. All right. You have about one. I take it back. You have about 1 minute. So if you need to refine, go ahead and refine. Do you guys have it? Is this it? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well. All right. All right. And if you have yours, you can relax and sort of converse with each other, but don't lose it, because I'll ask you to. You've got it? Okay, you're going to keep it. Okay. All right. Beautiful. Do you guys have yours? Is this lovely? If you want, you can relax for a minute, and then, but don't lose it. Don't lose your picture. You guys have it, I see. So you can relax for a moment and converse, and then I'll ask you to reassemble yourselves in a second. You guys good? All right. Are you guys good? All right. Very nice. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to count to 5, and everyone's going to assume their picture, and then I'm going to go to each group so that you all can look at everyone else's. So I'll let you know when it's your turn to look, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, anti-creativity. Gosh, it got quiet in here. All right, so this group, if you all want to look around and see what else you saw, what else everyone else is doing. All right, and then take your positions again once you're done looking. You guys would like to look around, see what you see. All right, and take your positions again. And you all look around and see what your colleagues are doing. Beautiful. And once you've seen, go ahead and make your picture again. If you all want to look around and see what you see. Very nice. And if you all want to look around and see what you see, and then make your picture again.
It says you've done that before, it doesn't work.
Oh dear. Very nice. Give yourselves a hand. In your groups, discuss what were the things you saw that said to you anti-creativity. What were the things that came up visually that said anti-creativity? So just in your groups, take 1 minute, and then we'll report back. Thank you so much for coming. I know you had other things. No, it's fine. If you want to join this group, they'll kind of catch you up to speed since you know, right? All right, let's come back together. Oh, and I'm going to remember what I'm supposed to do. All right. For you all, what were the aspects of not creative?
In our group
In
or
your,
in any group?
or just what you saw. What did you all discuss? What did you see?
Really liked the authoritarian element that we saw in that group.
Creative. I'm like, I have my own mic. Okay, so creativity, there was an authoritarian, or anti-creativity, there was an authoritarian element. What else did you all discuss?
Lack of eye contact, lack of ability to have eye contact.
Yes. Lack of eye contact, lack of ability to have eye contact. And I haven't read it yet, but there is an article on that subject in the Chronicle on the front page today. I hope it's good. All right, how about for you all? What did you see that said anti-creativity?
No communication.
No communication.
A disinterest in communication.
Disinterest in communication. Other things?
With that group, I sort of like the idea of just a bunch of followers, walking in lockstep.
All right, so a bunch of followers walking lockstep. They were following the rules. They were in line, right?
I did like the ones where everyone had their backs to each other. Opposed.
Okay, opposed, backs to each other. Very nice. How about for this group? What'd you see?
Nobody interacting.
Nobody interacting, lack of interaction.
Nobody looked happy.
Nobody looked happy. Oh, this is so important. And for those of you who said you felt happier when you came in here, let's think about that. Other things.
When they had their backs to each other, they're all looking, had different perspectives, and so you're not even sharing the same perspective.
Okay, so no shared perspective at all. Okay. Other things? All right.
Doing the same thing as everyone else, very, very conventional.
Doing the same thing as everyone else, very conventional.
I like the authority too, like you're doing it wrong.
Okay, so a sense of authority. Someone is saying you're doing it wrong, yeah.
I like the cell phones aspect here. It's sort of a symptom of boredom, perhaps, in terms of just sort of tuning out what everybody else is doing, focusing on an internet world instead of the people around you.
Sure. I'm so disinterested in what's happening right here around me that I'm going to put myself in a different space.
It's like a fake communication going on over there too, in a way, like the virtual things, but not with the people that you see, but someone that you don't see.
Very nice. Fake communication with someone you don't see. Pretend.
I saw someone sleeping over there. It's like out of place completely. So that's sometimes the disinterest completely. So you sleep when you don't want to get engaged.
Yes, I sleep when I don't want to get engaged. Yeah, absolutely.
I saw here not only people who had backs to each other, but refusing to communicate by closing their mouths.
Yes.
That it's a positive thing in terms of the action. It's not just you're not communicating, but you're refusing.
I am refusing. Yes, yes, absolutely. And actually, I just want to note, you'll notice that I am forcing everyone to take part, and in fact, that is a very important aspect. Sorry, go ahead, tell me.
It was so boring that two of the groups I never even focused on. That the lack of creativity was so dull.
Yes. Yes, well, exactly that, right? So if we are not engaged with each other, we're so dull we don't even pay attention to each other. Yeah.
No, I think everyone's covered most things.
Anything to add over here?
I like that closed body response.
Oh,
of
yes,
the elbows in front of the chest.
Yeah, we're closing ourselves off. We will not share of ourselves. Other things we saw, non-creativity.
I liked the single file line, followers, nobody stepping out.
Yeah, yeah. Anyone else? Any other things to add? Hey, look, I remember the microphone. Yay. All right, so give yourselves a hand. All right, here's your next step. You had your anti-creativity picture. Get with your group, start with the anti-creativity picture. So I actually don't want you to discuss with each other. See if you can do it visually first, and then you can discuss. So start in your anti-creativity picture and begin to make adjustments so that your group transforms into the picture of creativity. See if you can do it. Start not talking, and then if you feel like you need to discuss, you can. Yeah.
You're just training us, aren't you? Yeah.
Oh no, there's no. I don't have a finished picture in my mind. I really don't. I don't.
We lost one, but that's okay.
Lovely. What do you need? Do you need a...
I want this to go up.
Oh, I want it to go up too, but I don't know. Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. It's okay. I'll put it back down. Oh, okay. Oh, I think he's... yeah. All right, keep playing together. Very nice. Keep playing together. All right. This group's done. Okay.
We left into scary. We skipped
I love it. No, scary is good. We actually, like, if you can't go to the scary place, you can't go to the creative place. We always tell our actors, like, push so far that I have to say, no, not that. If I'm not saying no, not that to you, it's not a good thing, yep. All right, thank you. All right, let's take a moment. Make your picture of creativity. Make your picture of creativity. And, all right, we'll start. This group, look around, see what you see. Nice. Very nice. You guys, it's your turn to look around and see what you see. And you guys can look around. Go ahead and look around. Very nice. Looking around. All right. All right. All right. Give yourselves a hand. Please grab a chair, but we're still going to make an oval. So grab a chair and just bring it to the oval. Oh, sorry, excuse me. No, you're fine. Sometimes I say my workshops are actually workshops about moving furniture. So let's try and make a beautiful oval as much as we can. Right. What did creativity look like? And we'll start here.
More open, more forwards.
More open, more forwards.
It was cooperative and dynamic.
Cooperative and dynamic. You know what? I think you guys can pass this on yourself. So everyone just say one thing into the microphone.
But we still thought that disagreement could be important.
Yes, indeed.
Connectedness.
It's a collective effort.
Encouraging.
Celebratory.
Shared.
Engaging.
Playful.
Alert.
Funny.
Everyone was smiling.
Happy. It's kept changing phases.
Lots of ideas.
A dance.
Connectivity and dependency at the same time for our group.
Spontaneity.
Strong.
Fun. Animated.
Instead of using technology to separate us, we used it to inquire about more information and to unite us.
Chaotic, but but in a good way.
It was more supportive.
Focused.
Encountering, confronting.
Not always successful.
Ah, very nice. I'm going to comment actually on two things. The first one is that you thought that disagreement was still important, and I'd like to underline that. Being creative in an ensemble does not mean that everyone thinks the same thing. It's having a different viewpoint towards conflict that it helps us grow, and it helps us think about things in different ways. And what did you just say, Fred? Because I wanted to underline that.
Not always successful.
Not always successful. So if it is my belief that if our goal in creating a creative environment is to come out with success at the end of an hour and a half, our focus is going to be on success and not on the group and supporting them in their creativity. So there's, of course, a time and a place for everything. So I direct theater. In 6 weeks, we put a show up whether we're ready or not. So I have some, I have some values in terms of finishing and having a show that looks good and all of that. And yet I have to balance those with this idea that when I'm asking people to be creative, I can't insist on success at every moment. So any thoughts or questions before we transition a little bit? All right, so. Oh.
I had never thought of, she was talking about color.
Uh-huh.
I asked her if she was cold. She put her shirt back. She said, no, that was for non-creativity because the color would do it. And I hadn't thought of colors before.
All right, very nice. Yeah, okay, so color, yeah. And there's actually different fields think about creativity differently, right? So the way the body moves in space is very important in my field. With the scientists I work with, that is not such an important thing, right? So, yeah. Other thoughts?
The task that you gave us that I think was hardest is really not thinking about what you're going to do ahead of time and paying attention to everyone else. And until you feel comfortable in an environment and with the kinds of activities that you're going to do, you just can't do that. And so it makes me think about how hard that is for students to let go of what they're going to do next and really pay attention to each other. And, what can we do to help them feel comfortable enough to let go of that?
Absolutely. Actually, I'll let you. Maybe we could just be responsible for passing.
I think it was in-group focus as well, because I haven't noticed what others were doing while they were creative. I was so focused in my group, so it was like an in-group experience.
I just have a question for Jenifer. How do you do this exercise with your students, and how do they react to it?
I do, and I'll let you keep that because I have one. So I do the exercise with my students. So my acting students, and this relates to what you say, are pretty, I have acting too. So they've had 2 or 3 performance classes before they come to me. So they're becoming more skilled in terms of being in the moment and trying to pay attention to what they're doing in the moment, not thinking about being judged and that sort of thing. So that is actually easy. I also teach an ADC theater experience class. And of course, this setup is not possible, but I do ask them to make pictures and to become involved with each other. And because the classroom says very much, you all are it's 10, 12 and BAL, so you all are gonna sit here while I talk to you. They have an expectation, and I think at the beginning of the semester they're often a little resentful that they have to get up and move around and they have to do all of this, and then I'm collecting information to give them a check mark that they participated in some way. My comments, though, at the end of the semester is that they really enjoyed it, and I'll talk about that just a little more. I also do these workshops for mainly mathematicians and biologists who wish to work together. So it is a 2-day workshop, and the comment that I receive most often, which just makes me so happy, is if I had known what this workshop was going to be in the first place, I would have never come, but I'm so glad I did. So I think it is incredibly awkward. We're asking people to be incredibly intimate with each other. And we're creating a common experience so that people can know each other and connect really quickly, right? So if we think of the theater experience, sometimes we're asking a group of people to come together and, in a real avant-garde production, French kiss and be naked on stage together in 6 weeks in front of an audience. So, our tools towards helping people feel, not on the ODU stage, of course, but for example, but that we have to be safe with each other in order to create in that sort of situation. So, okay.
How exactly do you intend to use the video recording of this episode?
I will not use it at all, but maybe Joy can speak to that, because I think...
Maybe Muhammad could speak to that.
It would be posted on YouTube.
I have to say I would normally never allow a video camera in, but it, but it seemed like it was how it was done.
So how does this translate into classes where we have tests and papers and grades?
Person in the whole world.
I knew that.
So, and because here in my bag, if everyone can take a Post-it note and pass it on. Thank you. On your Post-it note, I'm going to ask you that question. Is there one thing that you experienced in the last hour that you think you can use in your class? And I did have a PowerPoint which I didn't use, but I think Joy, can it be emailed or I don't know? Okay.
Yes, no questions.
Yes. No, I'm sorry. I was thinking of two things at once. On your Post-it note, I would like you to write one thing that was demonstrated or that you participated in today that with whatever modification you think you can use in your class. So one thing, even if it's, I would never do this because, but hopefully it will be, I will totally do this because, yeah.
Since everybody's writing, I just want to share some thoughts with this group. Oh, thank you. Actually, I'm a faculty not on this campus. I'm an instructional design faculty from Franklin University. I happen to be on campus today, so in between my meetings, I saw this wonderful forum. So I stopped by and I did not regret. This has really opened my eyes. And so actually I have a question for you as well as for this group. My first question is, my students in my teaching as well as in my design work, at Franklin we have a big number of courses are delivered through distance education. So this type of a technique to engage students, how could that be applied to a distance learning situation? That's my first question. Second question is, this current year, I take on the responsibility to facilitate the faculty forums. We struggle so much to have faculty actually showed up in our forums. Some of the days I have good luck, 30-some faculty. This past one, only 2 faculty showed up. So is there any magic touch? Boom, faculty are here. That's my questions. Thank you.
And if you, well, and actually you can, I'll let you, I will collect them, but I'll let you hold it for a second. Any thoughts in answer? Oh, cookies. It is the cookies. I do have to say that I notice when there's food promised, people come.
And it varies. I mean, there are sometimes when we have a small group, and sometimes we have a larger group. Sometimes we have a small group, sometimes we have a larger group, and it's very varied. I've noticed a gradual increase in the number of faculty who are coming, which is great, and it's never quite the same people. Some people are good, stalwarts and here regularly, but usually a different group every time that will come. I think faculty who know the individual faculty member, like many of us know Jenifer, and so we'll come and see what Jenifer's got to say, or what Arthur's got to say when it's Arthur's turn. So there will be a certain set of the fan club that will come along, but not just that. I think over the past 2-3 years, people have got to the idea that there's some really interesting things, and usually we come away with at least one good idea out of any talk. So it's been good.
Could the presence of provost be a real factor? If that is a yes, I would talk to my provost.
No, I don't think so, because I can't get to them all. My schedule won't allow it. And I don't think people notice what I hope I don't notice what I'm hearing.
I try to be where Carol is at every moment, but
okay.
Just kidding. No. I promise. Yeah, I do think that.
The fact whether the provost is here or not is less important than the fact that she's saying that it's the provost conversations. And it's an important thing for us to get together and talk about teaching. I think that helps.
I apologize
Yeah.
for being flip.
Yeah.
I actually don't apologize.
Can we export this to Congress?
I'm sorry?
Can we export this to Congress?
So the practitioner who informs a lot of my work actually did what he called legislative theater in Brazil, and so in fact did export it to Congress in Brazil. So, yeah. Would anyone like to share their ideas? We'll just, if you raise your hand, Joy will come around. Thank you, Janet.
I'll just give less graded work in my classes now to build trust and cooperation.
I do a version of not the pass the ball, no, not so physical, but that introducing yourself and then introducing the person next to you, so they begin a conversation with the person next to them, not to be talking all class long, but to know the people around them. I think that's very useful.
Actually, I stole his idea, but one of the things is, because we're not teachers, but we do have a lot of teams, and we could use this for team building.
Just honoring the participation of each student. I find that nothing instills fear more quickly than telling a student he's wrong or critiquing them very harshly in front of a group of peers. So it's really important for me, and this reinforces that, to honor what each student brings to the table. And even if it's not correct, say, yes, I see where you're coming from, but let's look at it from this angle. And that, I think this work really enforces that and kind of clarifies it. Thank you.
I'm going to answer Janet's question seriously, which is I find the grading part of education unbelievably challenging. It's hard for me to breathe through it. I really dislike it because in terms of what I feel I'm best at bringing to the classroom, I don't think it can be graded. I think it's something that is cyclic, that has cycles, and that it's nonlinear, and that there's not a way to grade it. So I'm really clear in my syllabus for my performance class that I expect that the students will grow artistically and that they will have some personal growth, and that is theirs to take care of, and that's the conversation I want to have. The academic work is graded, and I grade it I grade it fairly, but I'm difficult, I'm told. And we have a lot of conversations about how that's separate from personal growth and artistic growth, and that personal growth and artistic growth happen in different ways, and that the only thing that I can evaluate from the outside is the academic part of the course, and that's what I do. So I don't know if it's the right solution, but that's what I'm working with right now.
I had a similar, I gave a test today, and I had a similar conversation with a student who was very concerned about his test and that it wasn't going to express exactly what he knew. And I said I understood there was a difference, and that he had some growth that might not be captured by the test, but this is the best I have about capturing that, and he has to figure out a way to get it onto something that I can look at. But I think make a distinction between those. Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to wrap it up because we're out of time, but I would love to stay and talk, and I think if anyone else would like to stay and talk with each other, that's really important. I would like to thank you all so much for coming. I know there was a lot going on today, and I really honor your participation and your bravery in participating, especially with the camera here. So give yourselves a hand, and I would love your Post-its.
And before we adjourn, Jenifer, thank you so much for such a creative, energetic, and fun session. Let's give her another round of applause. And if you had a wonderful time today, we hope you'll come back and join the conversation again. October 11th is our next session with Elaine Justice. Everybody create a creative day. Bye-bye.